We are live. That's right. It is Q&A time. Time to get your questions in the wrestling communities. We talk all things WWE with major changes to plans for Evolution 2 and beyond, you could say, with Liv Morgan's injury on a Monday Night Raw. A dislocated shoulder. No exact time frame how long she'll be out for, but she's going to be sorely missed. Quite pivotal to quite a few plans going on right now on the Raw side, aka the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio. What's going on with Roxanne Perez? Was Finn Balor playing dirty deeds to try and get Liv out? And, well, what's the situation with Evolution 2? We started a feud with Nikki Bella last week. Could the Bella twins have been returning? What's going on with the Women's Tag Team Championships? It's quite a beefy topic, so that'll be the one that will kick us off. SmackDown is going back to 2 hours. We'll let you know when that will be very shortly in the show as well. Has the future for the WWE Championship been revealed by John Cena? We'll be talking about that later on as well. And of course, yes, Bill Goldberg, is back in WWE, and he will be taking on Gunther at Saturday night's main event. Would it be better than we think it will be? All that and more coming on, plus your questions as well for the next 40 minutes or so. And Steve, you're in hot seat with us as always. It's great to have you on board. Another eventful week in the world of professional wrestling.
Yes and no. I mean, it's, if anything, I think we need a break. There's been so much going on that it's the fact that there's not so much to talk about. I think it's kind of refreshing. It's like, look, you can chill out now, catch up with the stuff you haven't missed. You've missed. Like, I still haven't watched Double or Nothing, so it's still just playing catch up, man. But yeah, it's not been too bad. Look, I mean, SmackDown going to 2 hours is a great start already. But yeah, just pretty sucky about Liv, but. While you was talking, I had a look at a report online from Wrestle Talk, and it might be conflicting or contradicting what they're actually going to do for Evolution now.
Yeah, absolutely. The it seems to be the WrestleVotes take on it is that Evolution, pretty much a lot of plans with Liv Morgan's injury going to be scrapped. It's almost going to start again. There seems to be a simple solution, in my personal opinion, of what you could do is one, Roxanne Perez could fill the spot. Liv Morgan could defend the tag team championships with Raquel Rodriguez. They could lose those to the Bella twins. Therefore, the Bellas win the tag team titles. Liv is not there. And obviously, then the Judgment Day gets mad because let's say it's Raquel that takes the pinfall or it's Roxanne. There is going to be more friction in amongst the Judgment Day whilst Liv is away. And it could kind of be as you were in the meantime. Could there be conspiring ideas, perhaps maybe behind the scenes with Liv Morgan? It all depends on how long she's going to be out for. Because, like I say, it looks like a simple fall. It didn't look like it was going to be anything major when you watched the scene on Monday Night Raw. It just seemed to be a simple takedown, no high spot or anything like that. But sometimes the most simple things that you can do a million times over do not affect you can unfortunately have a devastating impact. And it's not the first time Liv Morgan's had a problem with her shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been in incidents myself and come out with cuts and bruises that surely should have resulted in broken bones and whatever else. And you then hear stories of people, like I said, the simplest thing, trip over a bit of furniture and they just break a bone. And it's one of them unfortunate things that happens. And like, it's just really sucky, unfortunate timing. And I mean, yeah, look, in terms of story-wise, you would have thought Roxanne Perez taking Liv's spot would have just been a great narrative direction they could have used for those tag team titles. The only thing I can think that they're probably going to do now is Raquel is probably going to have to give up her tag team title. And the only way I can see them getting around this now is doing a really short, like, when is Evolution exactly? A couple of weeks?
It is, yeah, going to be on, I believe, July the 13th in Atlanta.
Okay, so we've got a little under a month to go. Essentially, what they can do now between now and then is they can do a small tournament and have new champions crowned at Evolution. Which, if they're gonna, like I said, if they're gonna do it that way, you could easily still put Roxanne Perez and Raquel back as a tag team and make them enter the tournament and have them win it again. Do you know what I mean? That's a different way to go around it. I just think they've got to get them tag team titles on the show somehow. And if they're not going to have Liv defend them and they're scrapping all those plans, look, take the titles off of them, do a small tournament. There's a load of women you could stick together. You could even establish some tag teams in this process as well. And like I said, if you really wanted to put Roxanne and Raquel together, force them to tag, have them win them tag team titles back.
I understand that philosophy, and like you say, it's certainly an interesting way to go because, like you say, then you are trying to strengthen your women's tag team division, which I think right now WWE has been a bit
Lack
lackluster
of.
in this tag
Yeah.
division. It's back of absolutely. I mean, the champions won the titles the night after WrestleMania. I don't think they defended them that much, if we're being brutally honest. So it would be a good way to try and establish the division. I think they're trying to build new teams. For example, Maxine Dupree and Natalia. I think we started with some skits backstage. With like we know we've got the Secret Service as well on SmackDown. So there is like a bare division that they could make something with, like I said, have a mini tournament. For me, I still
But
feel like
also
the
as well,
direction
sorry, just to add to that, you could also just dip into NXT there. You've got Zolruka and Zarya who have been tag teaming. You've also got Fatal Attraction that have not Kalani Jordan,
Fallon
Fallon Henley,
Henley.
and I forget the other person's name part of that faction. There are some teams you can like. You could probably make this a cross branded tournament.
I mean, of course, Triple H loves to have these triple threats and fatal four ways, doesn't he? Now these days, when it comes to these qualifying matches, doesn't he? But yeah, maybe
Mm,
the normal structured tournament if they were to go down that
mm,
avenue. I just believe right now Roxanne should just slide in as champion, and it's almost like a free bird rule just for the time being, and then it's a way that they could just drop those titles. And as I said, I personally feel WWE has a stacked women's division. I'd like to see them utilize that division. I wouldn't want to see someone miss Evolution 2 on the behalf of the fact that the Bellas make it onto this show. But I think still the direction should be the Bellas should beat Roxanne and Raquel, therefore adds more storyline narrative to the Judgment Day. If Liv
yeah.
is around early doors when it comes to her injury, say that she can still be about as a mouthpiece, for example, that could still carry on storylines in the meantime in WWE, but maybe she has to take time away. We'll have to wait and see what will go on. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, the thing is, ultimately, I think the ultimate play here was that Liv Morgan would be out of the Judgment Day. And I'm going to jump into some comments early. And I think this one stood out to me nice and quickly. It's the first one we got in from Leo saying that Liv Morgan should come back as a babyface. It says Roxanne defends the tag team champion while Liv is out, but also thinks that Roxanne should win the championship from Io at SummerSlam. Now, for me, my thinking is it depends how long Liv Morgan's out for, because she's back, say, in the autumn, then it kind of ruins the idea I'm going to throw out here. But say she is out for a good 6 months at this point, the Royal Rumble is the perfect place for her to return, and not only to return, be a surprise entrant,
Win.
go on and win it, because she has the history of winning these big title matches in Saudi as well. She won the Women's World Championship there, won the Crown Jewel Championship. It makes sense that she could win a Royal Rumble. Then all of a sudden, she puts herself in line for the position at WrestleMania. Obviously, then, like if it's Roxanne, for example, who's had more time to establish herself at that time, perhaps maybe it's an idea that Raquel is not on Liv's side at this point. You don't know what they're going to do with ways that they want to go with it, or simply the fact is that perhaps Liv can handle Judgment Day business, break away from the group en route to WrestleMania, and go on with who her actual challenger would be. But it's all down to that time frame, isn't it, for Liv Morgan of when she would come back?
Yeah, apparently I just had a quick Google search. It's about 6 to 12 weeks, so it's almost like along the same lines as like a broken leg or a broken arm, really, I think. But obviously because of it's not only the 6 to 12 weeks just for the shoulder to heal, you've then got to regain muscle memory and fitness and fatigue. Like you when your shoulder is dislocated, it's not like you can run ropes either. So she's gonna lose a lot of she's gonna basically gain ring rust while not being able to do that. So you're gonna be looking at probably, I would say at the longest, probably about 3 months, maybe even 4 months before she returns.
Absolutely. And from this point, that's October. So, I mean, we're probably looking towards
Mm.
Survivor Series season if that's going to be the case. So, it's interesting to see how it will go out. But, I mean, Leo does go on to say that he does believe, by the way, that Raquel, in the meantime, would then align with Roxanne over Liv Morgan. I think that would be an interesting way to go with that story. And especially as Finn Balor this past week on Raw kind of started throwing in you're doing well, Raquel. Like, don't blame yourself for not winning that match, the Fatal 4-Way for the Queen of the Ring qualifier. So, the Balor's playing the dirty tricks as well. Obviously, they can still carry on with the Finn Balor Dominic Mysterio storyline. I don't think they should drag that out forever at this point. But it's interesting to see like that. She really, Liv Morgan, is a key ingredient to a lot of storylines right now in WWE. She was a major player for Raw. Not to mention that she probably was a future contender for Io Sky because that had started building as well.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that Liv, yeah, like you said, Liv is the sort of the key dynamic for the Dom Finn feud as well, because if ultimately it's going to lead to the split of the Judgment Day or whatever they plan on doing, you kind of really need Liv in the picture. Otherwise, it just doesn't really you could still do it. It just probably won't have as much impact as if you've got Liv there as well. So it's going to be interesting. Luckily enough, this isn't like WrestleMania season and like they're working towards like the biggest show of the year. So I suppose there is that blessing. But like you said, you imagine that Liv was meant to have a great showing at Evolution, whether it be in a singles match versus Nikki or whether it was going to be in a tag match for the titles, then go on to SummerSlam and have another match at SummerSlam. Like, do you know what I mean? Especially as it's the first 2-night SummerSlam, so a lot more stars are guaranteed to be on the card this year. So yeah, it sucks, man. Like I'm sure Liv will bounce back. It's just a case of like we waited so long for her to get to the point where she is now that this is just such a setback. It's just such a pain in the backside.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately, because it did feel like now that Liv was starting to really gain some momentum again, just after she dropped the Women's World Championship last year. I mean, she said this week on Raw, I never got my rematch. I'm not just asking for it, I'm demanding it at this point. It was the perfect time to start getting the train back together for Liv Morgan. Obviously, with the SummerSlam being in New Jersey this summer, you would have felt she would have been one of the challengers for one of the Women's Championships.
Definitely.
It's a shame. It's a shame indeed. But there was some speculation, and this is how I've seen multiple different things online as well, which is why it's interesting that people here have got different things here. Nubenhouse is good to see you, saying everyone thinks Liv's going to be out for 3 months. Leo has gone on to say 3 to 4 months, but there's been speculation it could be up to 6. I've seen all of those in the last few days, and nothing is confirmed to my knowledge.
The thing is the 6 months is probably the most sound because she can come back and be ring ready. But it's then putting her back into the dynamic of stories and where she's supposed to fit in terms of titles and stuff like that. So Rumble probably is the safest bet, to be honest. Just to be on, just like that way, like you said, if you have Liv come in, win the Rumble, it's you're almost setting it up for a great surprise return. And if she was to win it, which we all really want Liv to win the Rumble, it would almost be. And the thing is, because she'd have no promos and stuff like that, she would get the baby face pop. But then if you had her come out on the Raw the following night, she could still go straight back to being a heel. So it kind of works in a really good way. Like baby face pop at the Rumble, no promo, no nothing. We don't know what angle they're going with for Liv. Comes out on Raw the following night and just absolutely carries on where she left off as the biggest heel.
Sometimes as well, acting like a heel is the most over thing with the fan base as well. We've seen people with heel gimmicks be the most popular people in the company. It's not anything new. So certainly something that could work. Now, if there was friction with the Judgment Day, it needed to be fixed between Liv's return, whenever that would be, whether it's September, October, winning the Royal Rumble, moving forward. Leo suggesting the idea that if there's issues with the Judgment Day, maybe Liv and Rhea come back together, but not fully, just seeing with the history similar to like a Cody Roman situation like they had with Bad Blood last year with the new bloodline. Could you see something like that with Liv and Rhea, or is that a step too far?
I think that one's probably a little bit too far, especially with the fact that Dom is still going to be in the scene. And look, I'd like to think that the bridge has been completely burnt, destroyed, and can never be rebuilt again with that one. It's a case of, look, it's almost too soon. If anything, if he was going to do that, I'd be expecting like 18 months, 2 years down the line before Liv and Rhea are even in a tag match together on good terms. Like, you could easily put them in a tag match as like enemies, like can they coexist kind of thing. But if you want those two on the same wavelength, I'd easily say 18 months, 2 years.
But what if Dominic Mysterio has actually accepted some chicken tendies from Roxanne Perez between now and then?
Wow. Possibly. Look, I've already seen the thing that was, I saw something online before we started, and it was like Rhea had an injury, which ended up leading to Dom for being with Liv. Now Liv's injured. It could lead to Dom being with Roxanne. And I was like, oh my God. Dom is just the man, apparently. He is the guy. All the women want to be with him and all the guys want to be him. What a stud.
Absolutely, indeed, which is why he's NXT's Wrestler of the Year, I'm pretty sure, ready for 2025. Kyle Manhouse, good to have you, my friend. It's good to see him from OTM on the mark. He says, good idea with Roxanne, and he's wanted to ask you a question, NXT Steve. Why does Adam Cole always get the camera time on stream and not anyone else?
Because Adam Cole's the only one that doesn't have a plate to stand on. I mean, look, I've got Look, I've got Kyle O'Reilly, I've got Bobby Fish, I've got Orange Cassidy, I've got the Ultimate Warrior. It's just like Adam Cole's like, I have two of him, so he's kind of the odd one out. So that's still the only reason why he's on there most of the time.
I mean, he's also Adam Cole, baby. So, you know, and the
Exactly.
thing is, we like to tell stories on this stream. So it's story time with us. Could have been with Adam Cole, but it's with us.
Adam Cole, baby.
There you are. WWE get that Finn and Dom story wrapped up ASAP. We'll have to wait and see how they're going to do that in the meantime. Will Liv be around? Will she not be? We've
Does
found a
this
few
inadvertently
suggestions.
lead to Dom being a 18-month long reign as Intercontinental Champion?
I hope not. I hope not. I'll tell you what, we usually do these videos where we predict the next champion in WWE. We do those videos. We've not done one of those for a while, and we probably won't do for a little while because there's so many PLEs to actually record them, edit them, and then actually make them where they're still relevant by the time they come out. It's quite difficult with the way WWE is currently pacing their shows. So Dominic Mysterio, Intercontinental Champion. I think when they do the Finn Balor match, I think he's going to defeat Finn Balor. He's currently got a match against AJ Styles, lined up for Night of Champions. Spoiler alert, I think he's going to retain there as well. I'm going to throw a suggestion out of a name who I think will be the person to defeat Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. It's someone that's never won an IC title. And I think at this point, he would need to have dropped his 17th world title. To be a Grand Slam champion before he retires, I think a babyface John Cena will defeat Dominic Mysterio for that title.
Look, don't get me wrong, I'm all for it, but this is the most craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, it doesn't seem fitting to end John Cena's career as a Grand Slam champion because he wins the IC title. That's a bit doolally and a bit. Dude, I love the idea of it though. I think it's great and so left field that like you just wouldn't expect it or wouldn't see it coming. But nah, man, look, for me, if you're gonna put that title on anyone, and depending on where the brand's sitting at the minute, like whether they do a draft or a shake-up or whatever, Penta, I think, is the one that needs that IC title.
Needs agree. I just think John Cena will turn babyface after SummerSlam. I think he's dropping the title there. And I think that's when they'll cleverly find a way where people will get back on side. Speaking of John Cena's heel turn, right, let's talk about this quickly because John Cena all of a sudden is starting to have a plan. He's starting to actually have logic behind some of the things he's saying because he's got the feud with CM Punk going. Right. And on SmackDown, he said, look, I've kind of played my cards the whole way through here. I knew that Seth and Punk would cancel each other out in the Elimination Chamber. That's how I knew I'd get the win. And that's exactly how it played out. On Cody, I used emotion. That played it. I played the hometown feeling against Randy Orton, all the history that we had. That worked as well. He brought R-Truth to the main event, and now it's CM Punk. And obviously, CM Punk's played the idea as well of like, well, you know, I'm now the John Cena, the PG guy. You're the CM Punk wanted to be that wants to run away with the title. But I mean, Cena went on to say something along the lines of like how he knows that CM Punk won't get the job done. And he knows with other people like Money in the Bank, he's not worried about Seth Rollins. He said Seth Rollins wants Cena to walk away with that championship because then there's only one world title and Seth can be the guy that leads it all with this other title. And I just thought to myself, yeah, I can see that you're playing a card here thinking that's going to get in Seth's head, and it makes sense of the idea of like he's a heel, he wants to be the number one guy, but surely Seth is a rebellious guy. He's known for cashing in on opportune moments. And I have a couple of case scenarios I'm going to throw your direction because when Night of Champions is around the corner, obviously, if there's an idea that CM Punk could but win a world championship, I don't think Seth would let that go through at the moment. He hates CM Punk. He's not going to let that happen. If he thinks John Cena's going to fail, there's a chance that briefcase gets cashed in on mid-match. It's not the first time he's cashed in on a singles match to make it a triple threat. On the other hand, someone else is getting involved a little bit with Seth Rollins' business at the moment, and that's one Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton currently involved in this King of the Ring tournament, which I have a feeling WWE might have spoiled a little bit. I feel like it could be a Cody Randy final after SmackDown last week now because they're both on opposite ends of the bracket and stuff like that. You're shaking your head no. You're still in camp
Sammy J. I'm telling you now, let me just throw that quickly.
Go for it.
The way Sammy is going on with Karrion Kross, Jay obviously losing that title, Jay and Sammy get to look. Seth's going to cost Cody. Jay's going to get to the final. Sammy's going to win and get to the final. Jay is going to win and get his rematch against Gunther. That's going to be the precipice for the heel turn for Sammy.
I love it. And I'm not against none of that. None of that.
Anyway, carry on.
But when win, lose, or draw, that doesn't change the SmackDown side of things. And I think Cody will get his match at SummerSlam against Cena one more time. And what's to say that if Cody gets the job done, that maybe Seth doesn't look to cash in, or Seth cashes in on a match that involves Cena, and that's a clever way of basically both guys getting screwed over, and that's perhaps how Cena loses the title, loses a bit of that arrogance, the swagger, and then the towel starts going between the legs. Do you know what? With everything that's been going on with Cena, and I'm a little bit worried this is the angle they're going to go down, because Cena's just a bit like, we know you're not this guy. Punk's been saying, we know you're not this guy. We know that you're someone that deep down cares about the fans. Why have you got to go out like this? Just let them adulate you. Let them appreciate you on the way out. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. It almost comes across at this point that he's kind of like, I'm making it easier for myself to leave you people, because deep down I don't want to leave you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's going to tuck his tail between his legs and almost be like, it was me against the fans, and I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know how to say goodbye. I thought it would be easy when I did this retirement tour. Now I didn't want to go. Hence the Leonardo DiCaprio thing he did on Instagram. You know, I'm not fucking leaving. It's kind of that sort of vibe around it. And it's like, well, actually, I have to leave, and I know I have to go. And I just wanted to make it easy for myself.
Yes, but I have hope that they will do something spectacular with this. Because look, let's be honest, Cena has had the best booked year. Like, he's in line for Wrestler of the Year. Let's be honest. Like, his just being in the Rumble, Chamber the heel turn, winning at Mania, and like I said, the fact that he come out Monday and laid out his whole story of what's happened so far, it's almost the best creative writing they've done in ages, because it all makes logical sense. And for me, I don't know, like, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if Johnny's going to lose that title, I almost feel like there's got to be a bigger heel than John Cena to take that title off of him, a la a Rock. Because if Rock takes that title, you're then because everyone hates The Rock at the minute. He essentially is the biggest heel in the company. And if you was to somehow work that so that The Rock gets a match in December or whatever, everyone thinks Cena's gone. Like, I don't know. Everyone thinks that he's left. Rock is now champion. The idea that maybe Rock is going to face Roman at WrestleMania, because obviously that's my dream match that they've wanted for years. But then, like, if you was to have Cena come back in the Rumble, for example, it doesn't necessarily have to win it, but it then forces him to go on to something that, because look, like I've been saying for ages, man, the guy ain't leaving in December. No one bails out in December. They bail out at the biggest show of the year. Kurt Angle's done it. So many other people have done it before. You always go to the biggest show of the year. Cena will still be here come WrestleMania. And I think if you want to build something for him, you have to have him lose that title to the biggest heel. And Seth, look, if they can do it right, there's no reason why Seth couldn't be that guy that takes that title off of him. The problem is almost like Seth's got too many fingers in too many pies at the minute. Like, I imagine that he will be the reason why CM Punk doesn't win at Night of Champions. I think CM Punk's going to cost him. And again, this just builds to my idea that they do Seth versus Punk at Mania next year, because those two are just intertwined to do whatever it is they're going to do. But there's just some, I don't know, like, I'm interested to see, like I said, just how it goes. Because like you said, John Cena is having a great year, and like, he almost is like, he's just that guy that doesn't want to leave because he's been there so long. He's part of the furniture. And it's almost like his way of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good analogy, or a film and synopsis that kind of fits the same dynamic for John Cena. But I suppose Wolf on Wall Street probably is the best one. He's like, I ain't fucking going, because it is the same thing. Like, I don't know, man. I think that whatever they do, they just have to be really careful with it, because they've done so well with Cena. And bear in mind, this is meant to be his goodbye final tour, farewell, see you later, goodbye, no, hey Jude, whatever. I just think it has to be memorable. And if he goes out just losing the title back to Cody, I think that will almost be underwhelming. But then again, like I said to you, it's an opportunity to build the next big star, because whoever takes that title from John is going to be a massive superstar. They're going to be the guy that dethroned the guy that wanted to ruin pro wrestling. And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, it's going to be an interesting sort of 6 months when we get to December and ultimately see where that goes on to Mania. But look, there's just so much going on. And like I said, Seth having so many fingers and so many pies, he almost is, do you know what I mean? He's his own worst enemy because of what, like, his interactions with everyone else on the roster. Like I said to you when we did Money in the Bank predictions, for me, him winning is kind of perfect because a failed cash in for him doesn't hurt him. He's like almost perfect that he's got, like I said, so many people that can stop him. And like I said to you again, when we did last week when we was talking, that every time Steph could cash in, you can have CM Punk, you can have Sammy, you can have Jay, you can have all these people stopping Seth all the way up till the end of the year. I don't know, man. I'm just waffling at this point now, but there's just so much to think about, and there's just so much to book, and you just hope that they do it right, man, and do it justice, because we don't. It's not like we get farewell tours. Like, no one knew Austin's last match, last match was going to be at WrestleMania against The Rock. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, if you want to do this with your GOAT, your greatest of all time, they just have to make it memorable and make it special, because if they don't, it will just be one of those things where they're like, oh, do you remember when they botched John Cena's retirement tour and he ended up losing to Akira Tozawa on a Sunday night's main event? And it's gonna be something stupid like that if they ruin it, man.
A lot of people are not a fan of the farewell tour right now. It's very hit and miss depending on the fan base of who you talk to. I hear so many people that say good things. There's so many people that say bad things, and it's like I see a bit of both. Sometimes with certain things we see, like some bit stuff is good, but I do sit and think what we could have got, what we should have got. You know, it's. I do think that there is an argument for it, and it'll be for a different day. This will be a topic for a different day, but you know, is it a bit wasteful?
I mean, ultimately, John Cena as a heel, like I said, we all kind of know that he's going to be a face before the guy leaves the company. There's no way that guy bows out as a heel.
Exactly.
But I think for me, him being a heel is the most interesting thing he's done in 20 years, because he's just been John Cena. He's just been doing the 5 moves of doom every wrestling match. His character has been just one direction all the whole way. Like he hasn't changed anything. And I think this year is just the most refreshing he's been. Like, yes, he's still kind of the same in ring, but like his promos are so much more entertaining to watch. Like, he's had some of the best promos he's ever done this year because he's turned heel.
Especially the early stuff. I mean, the Belgian one was incredible. I will agree with that. Well, I'll tell you what, let's move on in the meantime. So we've got quite a few comments that have come in. So let's get to the comments. We have 2 particular topics we want to talk about before we finish off the show today. So let's make sure we get through what people are saying. And Leo's in there. Says, I think if Roxanne wins the title with SummerSlam, they may do a Liv like they did with Bayley, and it looks like it should be aligned with the Judgment Day. But Liv wins the Rumble and they turn on her. It could be something that could be along that line. And then they choose Roxanne, and she gets Rhea back on the side for the time period. That's what Leo thinks may happen down the line. Noob says, so now who will face Io Sky for the Women's World title at SummerSlam? I definitely think WWE has no choice, and I hate to see it, but pivot to Queen of the Ring and give it to a Raw star. Speaking of Queen of the Ring, things have gone a bit different to what we thought would happen. Yes, we thought we'd get Jade versus Roxanne in the semi-final, but Alexa Bliss versus Asuka. Could Asuka win it all?
Who's in the other side of the bracket? Or
Jade
is that the final?
Roxanne.
Jade and Roxanne. No, as much as I'd like to say yes, I think you made the best call when you said Jade wins it, because Jade winning makes the most sense in terms of Naomi, Bianca Belair and their dynamic. Whoever they're going to face is the problem, though. That's the thing. Like, Io's a baby face, and you've got Asuka and Bliss who are baby faces, and you've got Jade who's a baby face, and Perez is kind of the only real heel that should be sort of progressing to face Io. So maybe Roxanne should be, maybe it's a good thing that these have all got through because it probably makes it more interesting. Because, like you said, we thought Charlotte Flair was going to go through, and you know what I mean, and whoever else we said was going to qualify, and it just maybe opens up a bit more. And Asuka returning, although like you're in a match with Stephanie Vaquer, it is just one of them things where like, look, Asuka returning is kind of the bigger deal, and her going through makes all the sense. And she could go on to win the tournament, but then what? Asuka versus. Do you want to know what? Do you know what I'm saying? Asuka versus Io sounds like a banger of a match. I think if they put on one of them Stardom matches, that could be something really special. So I'm not against it. I'm just looking more for the storyline than the wrestling quality.
The thing is, well, the champion, the winner of the Queen of the Ring gets the championship opportunity at SummerSlam, and that doesn't necessarily mean that Io gets to SummerSlam. We've got Evolution too.
Yeah, true.
Still have a feeling Io versus Rhea could be on that card.
I think that probably main events Evolution, really, doesn't it? So,
agreed.
Yeah, that's probably the more sound. But then, I don't know, man. This is WWE's problem. It's just giving me a headache more than anything else. The other thing you have then is like if Rhea wins, she then goes on to SummerSlam. It kind of ruins whoever the King of the Ring winner is going to face if Rhea wins. So I think Io has to retain against Rhea, and I think that actually probably does more for Io than it does for Rhea. I think Io beating both Bianca and Rhea in a triple threat is one thing, but then to go on and beat Rhea in a one-on-one, I think does more for Io Sky, and I think it just makes the King of the Ring, the Queen of the Ring winner, like a lot more interesting come SummerSlam.
Certainly, I just at the moment my pick might turn to Asuka to win the whole thing because she's just returned, and they made a real big hype and a big deal of her. On Monday night coming. They protected Stephanie Vaquer as well in defeat because she hurt a leg in the match. Kayfabe, but I would not be surprised to see them two mix it up at Evolution 2. They made that feel like it was a dream match.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It'd be very nice.
I'm hoping that with Evolution, they essentially do what they do at WrestleMania, and they do the Andre Memorial Battle Royal. They have like the China Memorial Battle Royal for the women, just do you know what I mean, as a filler to get as many women on the roster as possible.
Absolutely, indeed. Leo wants to see Liv have the role that CM Punk had last year, help further the storylines, even though she can't get physical at this time. I need to sneeze in a minute. Leo says, I know I will keep bringing this up, but I feel like everything where it is now, Liv is the best choice to win the Rumble. Jade needs to win a mid-card title first. I mean, I think we've both kind of agreed with that, but we feel Queen of the Ring is a good placement for her right now.
Just because she wins Queen of the Ring doesn't mean she wins the title, Leo.
No, that's exactly not what we've. You need to check last week's video, Leo, and you'll see where we're going with that. And Leo says same thing for Stephanie Vaquer. I think it's too early for her to win. See, I would disagree with that because the rocket is on Stephanie Vaquer right now. She is someone I think could win the Rumble next year. Why wait if she continues to be this hot for another 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Again, it's all the problem is she's got to stay hot for another 6 months, and we know what WWE are famously like. And look, LA Knight has been hot for 3 years, and the guy still can't win a Money in the Bank briefcase. So, do you know what I mean? It's like it's one thing, you're saying one thing and them doing another. So fingers crossed, man.
We'll have to wait and see what goes down with that. But SmackDown is reportedly returning to 2 hours from July the 4th. That is coming via PW Insider. Little celebration from me. I love the idea that SmackDown's going back to 2 hours. Not because I don't want more wrestling. It's just SmackDown for 3 hours hasn't quite worked for me. I think the show's felt a bit more slow, a bit sluggish. They seem to improve when they're mixing both Raw and SmackDown rosters, especially when they're perhaps on the go-home shows. But all in all, I think for me, I miss my SmackDown being 2 hours. Used to get, pure cinema, cut the filler out. I do fear for the tag team division, but I do think it's going to be the best for all going forward.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know why they didn't do it until after the draft, because that was ultimately SmackDown's biggest problem, is that they don't have the roster size compared to Raw because they're an hour shorter, so they don't need as many people. So you're trying to fill 3 hours with 2 hours worth of crew. So I think if they'd have done a draft, it would have worked out better, and SmackDown would be as enjoyable. But look, I'm not going to complain going back to 2 hours. It makes my Saturdays easier. I'm trying to watch it, so I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, and that's probably the main thing for me as well, is to have time to watch the show. It's very much harder when it's 3 hours. But yeah. Question for you then, Alex Steve. The return of Bill Goldberg. We all knew it was coming. We all knew it was here. Goldberg versus Gunther has been made for Saturday night's main event, his retirement match in his hometown of Atlanta. Goldberg versus Gunther. Gunther has come out and said that he can take 3 minutes to whip Goldberg's ass.
Do you know, I almost want it to be 3 minutes now, but look, I'm not even going to watch this match because it's got a lot. Oh, no, correction. I'm going to watch the YouTube highlights because I refuse to watch Saturday night's main event. It's 2 or 3 hours of my life that I feel I don't need to watch because it's a glorified house show. Regardless of who you're putting on it, it almost feels underwhelming to have Goldberg on a Saturday night's main event because it's like, oh yeah, this guy's retiring, but he's not like he hasn't done enough of the business that he deserves to go out on a premium live event. We're going to stick him on a glorified Sunday Night Heat. Do you know what I mean? Or Saturday, do you know what I mean? A glorified. I think it's a glorified main event, and look, I'm sure he'll get his dues, and he'll get his flowers, and he'll get his confetti and whatever else. But look, I'm not even a fan of the whole dynamic anyway. Look, I think that Gunther didn't need this match. Gunther was fine having this match. He just didn't need the title, and I think it's just a waste. Like you've dropped your title from your biggest merch seller, the biggest guy who has the most backing at the minute, to put it on someone and then put that main event on a throwaway show. I don't care for it, mate. I'm sure it'll be, I don't know, 8 minutes of fun, including entrances, because it probably won't last that long.
No, I mean, every Goldberg, the last 10 Goldberg matches, only one of them has gone over 10 minutes. Most of them, I think, have averaged around 6 minutes. So I think it's going to be around that level.
And one of them was about 60 seconds long, wasn't it? The one where he faced Brock.
That as well, and 21 seconds for Kevin Owens, which the less said, the better. That still haunts me to this day. But I mean, there's a reason that they've done this, obviously, and it's simply nothing to do with Jey Uso. It's probably nothing to do with Gunther or Goldberg. It's simply AEW. Obviously, AEW All In is at the same day, so they obviously wanted to put a World Heavyweight Championship match, and it's the head-to-head to try and take the ratings away.
They have booked this so wrong if they think Goldberg versus Gunther is going to take people's eyes away from AEW All In. They have lost their absolute minds. There's no, like, why would I want to tune in and watch Goldberg versus Gunther? Like, I don't, because it's a 3-minute match. I will catch that on YouTube highlights. I would rather watch an AEW show and watch much more entertaining wrestling.
And that's coming from a WWE guy, let's be fair.
100%.
But I will ask the question, will this match be better than what I think a lot of people are putting it down to? Because there has been 1 or 2 okay Goldberg matches in the last 10 years. Dolph Ziggler comes to mind. I think he was the perfect guy that took a perfect spear back at SummerSlam 2019, I want to say it was. And there was a couple of good matches with Lashley. I think Lashley match at one of the Saudi shows pretty decent as well. Could we be surprised and actually have a better experience? I mean, it's Gunther. Gunther can have a great match with a cardboard cutout.
I mean, look, that's probably why they've given him Gunther, because Gunther can carry most people to a decent match. All but Jey Uso, apparently. Like, they've had some okay matches, but they've had some stinkers as well. But yeah, like, he's the perfect guy. Like, we don't have a Dolph Ziggler. Gunther is the most, like, do you know what I really want? I just want to see Gunther chop him. I want to see Goldberg just absolutely destroy. Like, Goldberg's been this thing, this object. Do you know what I mean? This, like, unstoppable force, this immovable object, and I just want him to be humbled, and I want Gunther to just absolutely kick his ass and just chop him to high heaven, powerbomb him a couple of times, and then see you later. No, hey, bye.
You might get your wish. Your wish. I wonder how Goldberg's going to react when he gets one of those chops. He's saw CM Punk's reaction. He tapped.
If he no sells it, I will be pissed. Because that's a Goldberg thing. Goldberg will no sell a water chop or a Gunther chop. Sorry.
I mean, Gunther really lays in on those chops, though. So I'm pretty sure if there's a no sell on one of them, he's getting levered the next time. He's going to feel it.
I wouldn't mind a Randy reaction, because I don't know if you remember when Randy took it. Randy was like bent over and he's like, do you know what I mean? He was almost just absorbing it. but he
Yeah.
still acted like it affected him. If Goldberg takes a chop and just stands there and screams in his face and is like, "Do it again," I'm just like, "No, forget it. Do not care about it."
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I'm going to stand. I actually think this match is going to be better than what a lot of people are anticipating. But
Probably.
I am going to agree
Yeah.
with you. It doesn't make me want to see All In any less. When you've got the lights right now of Moxley versus Hangman, you've got Mercedes versus Storm, you've got Okada versus Omega. I think it's clear. There's one card you
Okada
want to
versus
see.
Omega against Gunther Goldberg. I'm sorry. What la la cuckoo land are we living in where some people think that is going to draw more eyes than Okada Omega? I'm sorry. Let me just go back 6 years and tell you about like the trilogy of matches those guys had that changed the landscape of pro wrestling.
Time will tell. I mean, obviously WWE on a bigger platform, and it's on isn't it NBC Saturday night? So I mean, they were. It's not pay per view, so they
On
will
YouTube
get
over in the UK.
Yeah, they will get a viewing audience. They may get more of an audience than AEW, but I don't think it'll take AEW or mixed fans away, if that makes sense.
No, definitely not. I mean, I do. Like I said, I won't watch it.
No. Neil says Saturday night's main event is disappointing and goes on to say as well that the Brock match in 2016 was fun to see when Brock was fearing for his life at Survivor Series 2016.
That's
Well,
the one
we've
where
come...
he beat just the one where he beat him in 30 seconds and just shocked the wrestling world. I thought was great. And I was like, that's how Goldberg matches should be booked.
And to be fair, the WrestleMania 33 one wasn't too bad either when he'd first come back. And it was, I think, against Brock again. It was like 6 months later. So, yeah, there have been some all right ones. It's just there have been some that have been quite bad as well.
Yeah.
And there's probably the more latter ones.
Have been quite bad. Yeah, to say more of them have been bad than bad. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap things up there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for watching and keeping us company for the last 40 minutes or so. It's been fun to talk professional wrestling, get some of your comments, thoughts, and questions. Also talk about the big headlines we've had in the last week or so. But let us know maybe some questions you want answered in the comments below after this video has ended. Happy to answer all of them. Thank you for watching. Look after yourselves and each other. And yeah. How much is WWE storytelling and plans going to change now? Liv Morgan is injured. It's going to be fascinating to see as we watch WWE over the next coming weeks. What will happen at Evolution 2? Will Roxanne Perez just simply slide in and team with Raquel Rodriguez? Or will the card change from top to bottom? Will Raquel have to vacate those women's tag team championships? And most importantly, will Dominic Mysterio eat someone else's chicken tendies?